Michelangelo wrote in one of his poems, "I am ugly." He believed that he did not meet societal beauty standards. Despite this, he spent his entire life in pursuit of sublime perfection. Michelangelo's David is indeed the most perfect statue in the world. It exudes the aesthetics of high Renaissance art and the technical prowess of Greek sculpture. Why did the Vatican censor David? We have created a detailed YouTube video on this and would drop the link at the top right corner of the screen. But when we observe Michelangelo's women, why do they seem to be imperfect and apparently masculine? Why does the female anatomy seem unladylike? Let's deconstruct the possible reasons behind Michelangelo's men with breast. Consider Michelangelo's Night, a nude reclining on the sarcophagus of Lorenzo de' Medici's feet. The woman has an angelic aura, but as we slide down, her body looks muscular. For instance, her left breast looks misshapen and stiff. As we move further down, she has sturdy contoured legs. Definitely a mismatch between her divine face and the rest of the body. Consider Michelangelo's other masterpiece, Dawn, who seems to have curvy bosoms but a muscular physique. Erwin Panofsky, a contemporary art historian, said, "Dawn was a young woman's easily life, softened yet firm, full of vigor and energy, not yet hardened by life." Panofsky uses the word virginal to describe her. In direct opposition, then there's Night. Panofsky says, Night's body has been distorted by childbirth and lactation. Similarly, if we take a closer look at the Sistine Chapel and analyze female prophets from the 12 apostles, you might be convinced that Michelangelo represented women with manly attributes. For instance, Cumaean Sibyl with her gigantic body but hefty biceps. Libyan Sibyl with her ethereal looks but her Olympian physique. We would all agree that Michelangelo illustrated the female prophets as monumental as their male prophets, but something was clearly off with the female bodies. Let's dive into why Michelangelo's women were so unwomanly. Number 1. Unavailability of nude female models. Jill Burke, a lecturer in Italian Renaissance art history at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland, says that during the Renaissance period, nude female models were not readily available. It wasn't considered appropriate for a female to be nude in front of an unknown painter. And so, a painter like Michelangelo, who literally witnessed anatomical dissections firsthand, might not have imagined a woman's figure very well. While this is the most accepted theory, Burke contradicts herself. Raphael, Michelangelo's contemporary counterpart, painted a woman saint in an artwork called Saint Catherine of Alexandria, with a curvy body, supple bosoms, and a sensual aura. How did Raphael know how to paint a woman? Number 2. Patriarchy in the Renaissance period. Another theory that seems relevant is the patriarchal nature of the Renaissance period. Historian Thomas Lacker has written, "There was only one canonical body and that body was male." This means that a male prototype was the most superior and everything else was considered imperfect. Number 3. Michelangelo was gay. Historians have argued at length that Michelangelo was naturally inclined to male bodies. So in response to portray a beautiful woman, he would simply design her to appear as close to a man as possible. This does not mean he was misogynistic. In fact, Ascanio Condivi, Michelangelo's official biographer, wrote that he had a close relationship with his mother and a devoted relationship with a widow named Vittoria Colonna. He might not have been sexually attracted to women, but it's highly unlikely that he despised them. Number 4. the medical premise of the sculpture Knight. In November of 2000, a letter was published in the prestigious New England Journal of Medicine by a physician named James Stark. He visited Medici Chapel in Florence with art historian Jonathan Katz Nelson. And just like others, he was drawn to the weird appearance of Knight, especially her left breast. Here are few experts from Stark's letter and how he medically justified the sculpture Knight. I found 3 abnormalities associated with locally advanced cancer in the left breast. There is an obvious large bulge to the breast contour, medial to the nipple, a swollen nipple areola, and an area of skin retraction just lateral to the nipple. These features indicate a tumor. These findings do not appear in the right breast of Knight or in Dan. We suggest that Michelangelo carefully inspected a woman with advanced breast cancer and accurately reproduced the physical signs in stone. Even if he did not see the disease in a model, he could have studied the corpse of a woman. Moreover, autopsies were legal at that time. Given that Michelangelo depicted a lump in only one breast, he presumably recognized this as an anomaly. Many doctors in this day could probably diagnose this condition in a woman. Thus, historians of breast cancer agree that the disease and its treatment were discussed, often at length, and described as cancer by the most famous medical authorities of antiquity and by several prominent medieval authors. For these reasons, there is a strong possibility that Michelangelo intentionally showed a woman with disease, and that he may have known that the illness was cancer. If Michelangelo indeed depicted Knight as having a consuming disease, this would complement the imagery in the Medici Chapel of Life and Death and would help us understand his study of the female anatomy. Let me leave you with one of my favorite quotes from Michelangelo that show both his humility and curiosity. The sculpture is already complete within the marble block before I start my work. It is already there. I just have to chisel away the superfluous material. What are your thoughts about Michelangelo's woman? Post them in the comments section. If you like our videos, consider donating to us on patreon.com/frame of reference. My sincere thanks to all my active patrons. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos from our channel Frame of Reference.